Buenas noches, everyone. My name is Abelardo de la Peña Jr. I'm Director of Marketing and Communications here at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, welcoming you to Friday's edition of En Casa con La Plaza. Welcome to all the new viewers. Welcome to all the old viewers. If you're on Facebook, please share this broadcast via Watch Party. We have our Zoom. Use our comment, questions and answers. We take them all. We keep it interactive. As you know, La Plaza de Cultura y Artes since March has been closed temporarily, but this has been our way of fulfilling our mission of honoring the past, inspiring the future, and recognizing the enduring cultural influence of Mexican Americans, the non-Latinos and Latinos in LA through transformative exhibitions, programming, and educational experience. And this will be an educational experience in wine. These sessions are sponsored by SoCal Gas and California Humanities. We do it 3-4 times a week, but today is a special one. And to make it extra special, we have with us today La Plaza CEO, John Echeveste. Zoom in, John.
Thank you, Abelardo. How are you doing? Good to see everybody. Thank you all for being here tonight. Abelardo, you ready to go? You got your wine ready here?
I got it right back here, but I'm going to put myself on mute.
Okay, well, join us along here. So join the party. We're going to have a lot of fun and learn a lot tonight too. And we're really happy to have two returning guests with us tonight who have been with us at La Plaza to do live wine tastings with us, with our guests. And also last year led us on a tour of Valle de Guadalupe. That was a lot of fun. We took, I think, 20 people or so down there and had a great weekend. I think we had a recovery time of about 2 weeks, but it was all really worth it. So let me introduce to you Gil Gutierrez in the blue shirt here. Well, I was going to say blue shirt and glasses, but you're both in pretty much blue shirts and glasses. But Gil, just wave your hand. And Pedro Poncelis Jr. Pedro is coming to us direct from Ensenada. Are you in the Valley today, Pedro? Okay, good. But good to have you both with us today, and we'll get the party going. Because if you're like me, you know that beer is made by men, but wine is made by gods, right? Wine is the product of the gods. And Valle de Guadalupe in recent years has really become well known for the quality of wines that it produces. And Pedro and the Poncelis name has been one of the premier and leading names known with wines coming out of the Valle de Guadalupe. And Pedro has some exciting news to share with us tonight about two new labels that now have come to the market that Gil is marketing here for him in Los Angeles. So to get started, Gil, before we pour, why don't you just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your business and what you've been doing to support the wines of Guadalupe.
Hi, my name is Gil. John, thank you very much for that introduction. I love the way you describe like wine is made by gods. There's such a history in wine. So a little bit about myself. So what I do, I focus on importing and distributing wines from Valle de Guadalupe, Mexico to LA area, pretty much all of California. And most of my customers are either restaurants, wine bars, there's maybe a couple of hotels. So anybody that sells wine to, whether it's wines to go, or if they have a wine bar, or if they have a restaurant. So people that I've sold wine to over the years, or some still carry them, some they rotate their wines. And there's a pretty big range. La Casita Mexicana, they carry our wines. Mirame in Beverly Hills. You have Broken Spanish that now closed, but they were a big customer of ours. You've got Don Chente Bar and Grill in Pico Rivera. Pez Cantina carried our wines for a bit. Frida's, Morelia, Anapalco Cafe. City Club used to carry our wines. Waterfront in Venice Beach, they still carry them. It's a great place, right on the ocean. And then we've got in Sarape, Poor Hans, Barcito, Ramirez Liquor. So it's a pretty mix. It's a pretty big mixture of different locations that carry our wines.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that's good. And Go ahead. I was just going to
part
ask Gil too, and retail establishments where you can buy the wines here in town.
Yeah, correct. Because what happened after the pandemic, there were some of the restaurants that did have a retail license, but initially everything kind of closed down. So I think for us, speaking myself, I think maybe the first week kind of felt like a vacation. It was kind of like you really didn't know what was going on, and you kind of took it as, okay, this is going to last maybe a couple of weeks. So that first maybe 2 weeks you were on vacation mode, and then afterwards you kind of have to go into a reset mode where you realize that it's going to be going on for a lot longer. So you kind of start thinking of the long-term strategy. And for us, that was trying to get closer to the consumer, trying to initiate our website, trying to find the best way to sell online. And that's one of the things that we're going to start working on, where we have certain wines that we are going to sell online. Our website should be ready by next week. But at this point, customers could always reach out to me via email at gil@vinolosangeles.com. That's all that information is on the site.
Okay, that sounds good. So we'll have Gil's email address and their website posted on the chat. So if you are interested in purchasing these wines directly from Gil, you can do that. And also, Gil, before we forget, we should mention this again at the end of the show, but you do have a wine tasting scheduled tomorrow, right, in Santa Ana?
We do. We have a wine tasting tomorrow at 4 p.m. at Alta Baja. The only thing, you have to pre-purchase your tickets at altabaja.com before the event, because I believe the maximum capacity, it is an outdoor space, but I believe they're limited to 20 guests. So, and I think we're pretty close to it. So if anybody's interested, go under Alta Baja and you can pre-purchase the tickets tomorrow morning, I believe, until 10 a.m. Great.
Okay. And Alta Baja is a really cool little, how do they describe themselves? Latino store and little
I
deli
think it's
in
like
there too.
Latino store where they sell like hard to find products from Mexico, from different types of regions in Mexico, whether it's spices, salts, even dishes, wines. So I think one of the things before we get too far into this, I just want to say that about the wines that we're having tonight, I want to start off by saying thank you to everybody that purchased wines tonight. We appreciate that. And then also that we're going to have, thank you, Abelardo. We're going to have a total of, the idea of tonight was to taste Pedro Poncelis' new wines. He's got a new project called Punto y Aparte, and he has a total of 3 wines. He has Alesia, which is the Grenache. He has Punto Uno and Punto Dos, 2 reds. So there was a big demand for the Punto Uno. So whoever didn't get the Punto Uno, we substituted it with his prior project, which was the GSM. The GSM is something that he used to work on. That's his old project. He could talk about it a little bit more, but this is also, it's a delicious one. It's a little different style. So if anybody has not chilled their Alesia, please do so now, because we're going to start with that wine. So this is the Alesia. It's a Grenache.
Great.
And if it is chilled, I would say, why not open it and start to, I think the Zoom is always nicer with a full glass. So that would be a good intro. Go ahead and open your Alesia if it is chilled. If it's not, put it in your fridge and chill it. And then eventually Pedro Poncelis will talk about the wines a little bit more.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good. So Pedro, you want to go ahead, go.
Okay, John.
Pedro, you want to go ahead and introduce the Alesia to us then?
Lovely.
Get mine out of the refrigerator.
Perfect, for sure. Well, first, I want to thank you very much to La Plaza, to John, to Abelardo, and to Gila and Eloisa, my good friends in LA. It's a pleasure being here in this Zoom session, talking about Baja California, our wines, what is happening right now in the region, and also very proud to and happy to present our new project that is our new winery named Punto y Aparte. The first wine, as Hill was mentioned and John, is Alesia. This is a rosé wine, of course, made it with 100% Grenache grape. You need to know that in the past, the rosés that we were producing here in Ensenada and Baja in the different valleys used to be a rosés with a lot of power, a lot of color, a lot of intensity. As happens in whites, as happens in reds, we have different styles. Not one is better than the other one, but uh, for some reasons, different reasons, we were focused in the past in this style with rosés with a lot of color and expression. But then I was looking around the world, and then I remembered the wines that are made it in the south of France. These rosés, very light, very fresh, dry, and I wanted to do something different, and I started to change the style to this new proposal. We are thinking more in the light, easy to drink, well balanced, very a wine that you can pair with a lot of different options, different dishes, things, ingredients, very friendly and a very enjoyable wine. So in this wine, what we do is we harvest the grapes and we do not allow the red skins get in contact too much time with the juice. Actually, just the time that is needed to press the juice is that's it. Is the only moment when the red skins are in the contact with juice. We do this process probably in 1 2 hours, and that time is enough to get this light pink color that well make a special style, I will say. So what we have in glass, we have a wine that is very fruity, that has a very nice fruity aromas. We are talking about strawberries. Also, we have some flowers, roses. It's a wine that has a very a nice color, very sweet and lovely aroma. And in the mouth, when you taste Alesia, is a light wine with a lot of freshness, nice acidity, a wine that keeps the flavor in the mouth for so many minutes, and is perfect for pairing seafood. Like example, here in Baja, we produce a lot of good seafood. In California too, of course, but here we have a bouillon. We have a lot of different kind of oysters, lobster, and salads, a lot of vegetables, and all that kind of food goes perfectly with this wine. Probably you need to know that in time, everything evolutions. So when I started to come to this region 23 years ago, the few producers that were making wine in that time, they used to produce heavy, powerful, very oaky, and very complex wines. But in the last 20 years, people changed. Now the market is asking, is demanding for wines more enjoyable, not so complex, more fruity, less oak, more balance, less power, less explosion, less alcohol. So that
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons that made me start this new project to have a new proposal more adapted to the to the new times, to the what the people is asking right now, that this kind of wines more enjoyable, and also very important, cheaper. That is important too. So well, I hope you enjoy the Alessia. What do you think, my friends? Do you like it?
Mhm. Very nice. Very, very nice. Very refreshing. Very light. But yeah, very fruity too. Very fruity.
Very
The grapes are
fruity.
from where in the vine?
The grapes?
Where do the grapes come from?
The grapes
Mhm.
are coming from Guadalupe Valley, 100%.
Okay, good. Because Avaya is really known more for reds than whites, right? But you say things are changing a little bit. The more it's becoming more sophisticated now.
Definitely. Part of the evolution. In the past, probably 10, 15 years ago, I will say 90% of the production and of course 90% of the consumption was red wines. And as I was saying, people used to like heavy, oaky, powerful wines. But then now everything is changing. White wines are every day more and more appreciated. And the rosé category is growing and growing and growing. And also sparkling wines. Now in the valley, not in only in Guadalupe, in the whole valleys, we have very good whites, very good rosés, nice sparklings, and of course we continue to produce very good reds. Probably in the past we didn't produce so many white and red wines because there was no market. There
Mhm.
were no people asking for that kind of wines. But now it's amazing. The wine culture in the country and also happened in the United States. Probably you remember 20 years ago, wine was not important as it is right now. And the same happened in Mexico. The wine culture started to grow. People is discovering new wines, new styles, new grapes, new valleys. So people is curious, so they try these new wines, and sometimes they are just amazed about, wow, this is really good. How is possible that I didn't drink it before? So now definitely the valley is in a huge transformation in every way. One of these ways is the styles of the wines that we are producing, trying to listen more to the people, more to the market. I remember some good friends, close friends, that 20 years ago they used to say, I do the wines, I produce the wines that I like. I don't care what the people need. Okay, good. It's a point. I I think at that time conditions were so different, but no, now winemakers are thinking what I like, but also what my customers and people likes, and what the people is demanding. So that originated a very interesting change. For sure, 20 years ago, I
Yeah.
never could imagine that this region was going to be so big, with so many wineries, with so many labels, with so many different styles. Like example, right now I am focused because I like this kind of style of wines. I am focused in produce wines that are we are using traditional vinification process. What I mean, we do fermentation, alcoholic fermentation, malolactic fermentation. The reds goes to the barrel. Then we have a stabilization process, a little filtration, and then go to the bottle. But now, in
Hmm.
the world, in the whole world, there is this new style. The not new because it's so old, but now is so popular. The natural wines. These wines are not allowed to have any addition of yeast, sulfites, nothing. You get your grapes from the vineyard, and that's it. What you got from the plant, that's That's all that you will need to work during your process. After fermentation, no filtration, no stabilization, no addition of sulfites, no nothing. So
Mhm.
it's a very interesting style. I don't like it really, but it's interesting to taste because the wines are so different. Well, now
Yeah.
in the region, we have natural wines, people that are experimenting with some, like example, I have a friend that is making a orange wine, not a wine made with
Hmm.
orange. It's a wine that is a white wine that is fermented with skin contact and then goes to the barrel. Right now, the wine is in the barrel here in my place. The wine, of course, with the skin
Hmm.
contact, the white wine with the skin contact and barrel. Oh my God, the complexity is amazing. So those are
Hmm.
different styles, new styles. We never did that in the past. So it's something that we have started probably 2-3 years
Good.
ago. So part of
That's good.
the evolution.
You know, it's interesting. I'm trying to read her name. And Gloria Williams just wrote. I was just going to mention this, that the color is golden. It's a golden color, and she mentioned too that it has a touch of rosé and pink to it. But it's a very refreshing color too. And Ali Menchus on Facebook is trying it at home, and she says that it's very refreshing. And Catalina Lara is saying that it's a nice light wine, definitely a good pairing for seafood. And Gloria Williams also said that I was expecting more bang, a stronger flavor. Then after listening to Mr. Poncelis and thinking about French wines, yes, uh, this is the type. This is the type of rosé that it is. So French feel to it too. Oops, lost my.
Yes, thank you for the comments. Let me share you something that is interesting. When I was when I was thinking in the name of the wine, I decided Alesia because Alesia was an old city in the Gallias, now France. We are talking in the Romans' time. Actually, the last city defending Las Gallias was the city of Alesia. And Julio Cesar, with 30,000 soldiers, surrounded the city, and the battle was epic. I suggest to the audience to
Mhm.
look in YouTube or in Google the Alesia battle, the strategy and all the things that happened in that time in this place. The history is just unbelievable. And that's why I chose Alesia, because also Alesia was located in the south part of France, where this rosé style is very popular. So well, I connected with the origin of the wine.
Very good. That's great. What do you think, Gail? What's your take?
I like it. I think it goes very well with the food from Ensenada, the coastal food. I typically this is my favorite to start off the night. I know there's a restaurant in Beverly Hills, Mirame, that carries it, and
Mm-hmm.
my favorite dish there is they got this tostada. It's like a seafood tostada, and it's just the acidity on the wine and the dish itself. It's a perfect blend. It's a good way to start off the night.
Yeah, very nice. This will be a great summer wine too. Abelardo, enjoying it?
Well, yeah,
Yep.
I find it very refreshing, as Pedro described it. Very light but flavorful. It's got a burst of flavor when you take the sips. So I got it
Mm-hmm.
here, well chilled. Unfortunately, we have
Good.
Omar Loya out there who said I made a rookie mistake and forgot to chill it. Maybe better luck next time, Omar. But it's a good choice to start with. Thank you so much, Pedro.
I think a
Yeah.
good topic to talk
Yeah.
about,
Good.
since I saw Omar's name, and Omar does have one of these guys. I just opened this guy. This is going to be the last wine we're going to try. It might be a good idea if you are going to open this wine tonight, go ahead and open it up, because this is a big wine. It's a 2013. It's got to breathe. And you will find a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of sediment on the cork. That's normal. You know,
Mhm.
don't forget that wine it keeps evolving. So this is just part of the evolution. And maybe eventually, once we get to this wine, Pedro could touch on a little bit more. But if you are going to try this wine
Okay,
tonight, go to and
good.
open it so you could breathe. If you have a decanter, this would really benefit from some decanting. And we'll have this last.
Good. You know, we have a comment here on Facebook from Carmen Anders, who says that I've been waiting to visit the Valle de Guadalupe. So why don't we talk about that for a minute now?
Yes.
What it's like to go down now? How is the Valle survived the pandemic? Is it safe for tourists to go? Are the restaurants and wineries open? Can you both talk about that?
Of course, John. Thank you. Okay, coming to the valley. Situation here, I will say, is normal. Don't be afraid. If you want to come, feel safe to do it. Crossing the border from United States to Mexico is not a problem. As usual, you can drive and nobody will ask for nothing. In the valley and in the cities, there are, of course, safety measures. You need to use a face mask. When you get to a winery or when you get to a restaurant, they will check your temperature. They will give you antibacterial gel, and of course, they will ask to wear your face mask um, almost all the time if it is possible. Of course, you need to drink your wine, whatever. Okay, if you want to take it for a
Yeah.
minute, no problem. Capacity, as in the United States and all over the world, is reduced. So law says is 30%. In some places, probably a little bit more. But well, there are a lot of people coming. Wineries are working. Important. Uh, you need to make now reservation for all the places you want to visit. Everything is on the reservation because the
Mhm.
capacity of the restaurants and wineries. Restaurants are working, and food is amazing as always. And well, till now, weather has been lovely. Right now, we are going to have a winter, and it's going to be a little bit cold. But it's I will say safe, and is as usual a very amazing experience, and a place that if you want to come, you can feel free and safe to come and visit. Coming back to United States could be a little bit problem because, of course, the border is not closed, but there are a lot of restrictions. So if you are a resident or a citizen, for sure you will not have a problem, but lines could be a little bit long. If you are sentry, you wouldn't have any problem. In 15 minutes, you are in United States as usual.
Mhm.
So consideration is try to find, and if you need any help, you can contact me or you can contact Gilberto and Eloisa. Recommendation is find a hotel that has like independent room. I mean, not a regular hotel. I mean, cabins or little houses in the property. It's better. And when
Yeah, separated, huh? Yeah.
has separated facilities, and if you get to the winery, just to be safe, try to be a little bit part of the people. I mean, there is always a table in the
Yeah.
corner where you will be. Keep your distance. For me, that's the important thing. Use your face mask and keep your
Mhm.
distance. And for couples, is no problem. For a group of friends, if you take the
Mhm.
precautions, for sure there is no problem. You can enjoy the wines. You can enjoy the restaurants. the nights, the lovely sky, everything. Actually, I have to tell you, right now in this moment, we have the Baja 1000 race running. The cars in this moment are running in the desert. So, well, that tells you that we can do things organized and trying to keep safe all the people. Actually, this year is special because no public is allowed. But now with all this new technology, we can follow the cars in the application, in the computer, in the map, and whatever. And well, that is part of that. The life continues. You need to know that we are like a month behind of the situation of COVID in comparison with the rest of the world. I mean, happened first in Europe, now it's happening in the United States. I don't know. I hope not, but probably in December we will have more cases and more problems. But if I mention this moment, I have to tell nothing to compare what is happening in United States, that we are hearing that are hundreds of thousands of cases. No, not here. Not is not the case. And people is fortunately people is conscious and is trying to protect each other. And I am happy to see in the streets that almost everybody is using the face mask, and well, we are okay. So feel free
That's
to
good.
come. Feel safe to come.
Good. And of course, the Valle has the advantage too that most of the wineries, of course, have outdoor seating areas, so you can be outside a little bit apart from everybody. And most of the restaurants are outside restaurants too. The entire restaurants are outside, not just the little patio, but the entire restaurant. You think of Deckman's and some of the other places there that are all outside with dogs running around in dirt floors, and it's a great environment for that.
That's totally right. Almost all of them are in the outside, so that's also important to check before you go to a winery, to check if they have outside facility will be better. And restaurants happen the same. Almost all of them, they have outside seating is the best if you come to be in that part. And remember, try to get a little bit in the corner just to be safe.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's my favorite place anyway. But
That's a lot of-
it's just.
That's a lot of good information. Thank you, Pedro, for that. So should we move on to the first red?
Yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Punto Uno. And this is the one that was a big seller. Unfortunately, we ran out, and most of the people do not have this, including John, including Abelardo, and including myself. This is my Punto Uno. So maybe, Pedro, you could talk about it, but I'd say most of the people do not have this wine. There are a few that do. So for the people that do have this wine, maybe talk about it briefly, because the next wine, that's what I'd say everybody does have this. So let's talk about this guy briefly before we move on to the Punto Dos.
Okay, Gil. Well, I am just impressed about that we are sold out with the Punto Uno. We are sending more wine next week, so don't worry, you will have opportunity to taste it. But well, I want to thank Gil and Eloisa that are doing an amazing job promoting our wines. And this Punto Uno is a special wine because when people talk about France, people used to say, I am more Bordeaux or I am more Burgundy. Of course, those are two unbelievable wine regions, one of the best two regions in the world. But it's funny because in my case, I like Bordeaux, I like Burgundy, but my favorite region in France is the Rhone Valley. The Rhone Valley is located in the southeast part of France, close to the border with Italy. And you will find interesting cities as Lyon or Avignon. And in the region, you will find amazing appellations as Corroti or Chateauneuf du Pape, of course, the Côte d'Or wines. So, my favorite region in France. In this region, wines are usually made with these three grapes: Syrah, Grenache, Mourvèdre. Sometimes they use in the wines other grapes like Sansalt and other ones. For example, in the Chateauneuf du Pape wine, made it in this region, they use 13, 14 different grape varieties to produce the wine. So imagine the complexity is one of my favorite wines in the world. So since I started to visit this region 23 years ago, and since I started to produce wine 16 years ago, I always thought that these grapes, Syrah, Grenache, and Mourvèdre, are grapes that likes our region, our weather, our soil, our condition. They like hot days, cold nights, poor soils, rocky soils, and it's the condition we have here. So of course, they are very, very well adapted, and they are producing very, very good wines in general. So also in United States, one of my favorite regions is Paso Robles. And in Paso Robles, this blend, Syrah, Grenache, Mourvèdre, became very famous, the famous GSM, Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvèdre. So in 2013, I said, well, I'm going to produce a GSM blend. Is the other wine that we are going to taste at the end of this session. 24 months in French oak barrel, a lot of color, a lot of alcohol, a lot of power. Remember, we used to produce our wines in that way. And with this new winery that is named Punto y Aparte. Punto y Aparte is difficult to traduce to the English, but Punto y Aparte means the finish of a sentence and the beginning of the new wine, talking about the same but in a different way. So Punto y Aparte is something different, something new, something a new beginning, for say something. So in the new blend, GSM, Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre, we decided to go to this new style, a little bit lighter, with not so much oak. Instead of 24 months in this wine, we only have 12. And for me, I need to say I am a winemaker, but I started my career in wine as a sommelier. So for me, the balance in the wine is something very, very, very important, because if you have a balanced wine, then you can do better pairings with more different styles of food. So we work a lot in vineyard to get the correct and exactly precise ripeness, and then of course taking care of the fermentation and aging process to get a Syrah, Grenache, Mourvèdre that has a nice complexity, but at the same time a lot of elegance. You can feel it in nose. It's a wine that has, I think, the good balance between fruit and oak, a little bit of spiciness, and also you will find in the mouth a nice flavor, but not so heavy, not definitely not aggressive, very well balanced with a long flavor, with a good body, but very enjoyable, I think. I hope you share my opinion. It's a wine that you can pair with different things. You can have it with some chicken. You can have it with duck. You can have it with some pork, and also you can have it, if you want, with meat. You can have it with pastas. You can have it with a lot of things. It's also very easy to drink and enjoyable wine. So it's this famous blend, Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre. In this case, Grenache is coming from Guadalupe Valley. Mourvedre also is coming from Guadalupe Valley, but the Syrah is coming from a very, very small valley located in the south of Ensenada, around 30 kilometers from Ensenada, named La Grulla. So if we have time later, I can show you some maps just to tell you where are located all the wines. Okay, Gil.
Okay, so hopefully I need a refresher course because I haven't tried this in maybe over a month. So I need to try it again. So hopefully we'll have it soon and ready for anybody that would like to try it. Yeah, I'd say maybe hopefully by next week. So if you guys want to try that, send me an email. The availability should be soon. Okay, so what's our next topic? Mr. John, is there anything you want to add? Or we did talk a little
Well,
bit about this?
we're just kind of transitioning here, and just I would just say the Valle de Guadalupe welcomes people, so they are open for business. And the other thing I would suggest is to do what I do when you go to a restaurant and you order wine and they give you the wine list. Say, do you have any wines from Baja? Because we want to build demand for Baja wines. You know, we want to build the market for it. And if they get even 2 or 3 requests for that, they're going to think that there's a lot of interest in getting Baja wines. So that happens, then we turn them to Gil, and Gil can take care of them, and we can get our great wines from the Valle de Guadalupe here in Los Angeles. So
that's a good point.
Just
Thank you, John.
keep that
I
in mind.
remember we've been at this for about 5 years, and I remember when we first started, it was pretty tough because people didn't really hear of Valle de Guadalupe. People would tell me, "Oh yeah, I've tried those Valle wines. I was in Cabo San Lucas, and we took a tour." And I'm like, "No, that's not El Valle. You know, El Valle is northern Baja." So I think over the years there's been a lot of buzz about Valle, and you know, it's actually a little bit it's now on the radar. I would say it's a little bit easier. People now connect Valle de Guadalupe with northern Baja, so it's become a little more popular, which is a good thing.
And I think, Pedro, you've told us before too that the quantity of wines that come out of Baja is relatively small, right? And the emphasis is more on the quality of the wines.
Yes, I will give you a number. I was talking about the Bordeaux region in France before. In Bordeaux right now, they have around 8,000 different chateaus. A chateau is a property that has a vineyard and produce their own wine. 8,000 just in one region. I mean, it's huge quantity. And if we consider the number of wineries in California, of course, we are talking about thousands again. But here in Baja, probably we are close to 200, around, a little bit less, a little bit more. So 200 wineries for a region, I mean, it's nothing. We are a very, very small wine region. And well, we understood that probably, I would say 30 years ago, a winery named Montechanic started to change the philosophy of the producers, saying, my friends, we do not have enough grapes, so we should not be focused in quantity. Let's focus in quality. And then everything started to change. So in the last 30 years, I will say this is the new era of the Mexican wine here in Baja California. Wineries are more focused in small wineries, family wineries, wineries that are producing between 1,000 to 5,000 cases. So for a winery, that is very, very, very small. and focus in quality. Now, for us, oh, this is amazing. How many wineries and how many labels for us, because we are a small place. But when we compare to other regions, well, we are like microscopic. But we need to understand our region, and we cannot change some things. Our most important problem, and in California is the same, is we do not have water. So we want to have more vineyards. We have a space, we have land, we have investors, we have everything. We do not have water. So if we want to produce more wine, we need more grapes. And for that, we need more vineyards, and those vineyards needs more water. So this region will never be a large wine region because we will not be able to support a large vineyard. Understanding that, well, as I was saying, people now is thinking more in, well, let's produce 3, 4, 5 labels, trying to do our best, trying to produce wines that people like, people on loves, and well, it's what we are trying to do, because definitely we cannot compare to any other important wine region in California or in the world. I will tell you a number. Like example, in Chile, in the central part of Chile, in South America, you will find regions that produce between 25 to 30 tons of grape per hectare. 25 to 30 tons per hectare. Here, our yields are very, very low because we do not have water. So if a vineyard here in Mexico gets 5, oof, we are very happy. So we cannot compare. Never we will be able to compare these large regions and these large countries with us. So people need to understand that Baja is more focused in a good wine, good experience, good food, good pairing, and enjoyable products. Don't forget, we are a special region in Mexico, and we do not only produce wine. We have an amazing olive oil. We have an amazing vegetables. We have a very good meat. That's why the restaurant industry has been growing a lot in the last 15 years. 15, I will say 20 years ago, there was no restaurants here, not one good one. Of course, hot dog and hamburgers, well, whatever, but a good restaurant, no way. First one was Laja, that was established 20 years ago. After that, a lot of good restaurants started to appear in the region because they found and they understood we have amazing seafood from the cold water of the Pacific Ocean, but also we have amazing seafood from the hot water from the Gulf of California, Sea of Cortez. We have good vegetables, good meat, good wine, good cheese, good olive oil. Put all that together in a table, and you have a fantastic restaurant. So that's why the restaurants has been now so important. Amazing. I have met people that is traveling from Europe, from Asia, from Australia, just to come to the Guadalupe Valley to have a good wine, to have a good experience in some restaurants and everything. And some of our chefs now are internationally recognized, and they go to other countries to cook with our ingredients, the famous Baja food, and of course they pair with the famous Baja wines. And also, I have to tell, if you like wine but you need to drink another thing, well, let me tell you, we also have a very good breweries, and we produce also very good beer. So it's amazing. We have in that thing we have everything. No other part of the country, no other part of Mexico has all these ingredients and the possibility to have this special thing. Of course, the Mexican gastronomy, the Mexican food in the rest of the country is amazing, but it's more traditional. And sometimes food is really good, but you do not have anything to drink with your food.
Mhm.
So here you find everything: a good beer, a good wine, good with food. So
Mhm.
wines are labels. Now we are talking about around 200 wineries, probably 1,000 labels. So well,
Mhm.
it's good.
Mhm.
Wow, that's a
Good.
great. Yeah, thank you, Pedro, for that. So I think we should move on to the punto dos. This is the
Okay.
one I think most of us have. I know I have John, Abelardo, and most of the people that.
This one we have, right?
So why don't we start off with the punto dos? Pedro, maybe you could talk about it, and then maybe open up the conversation for anybody having any questions or anything of that nature. Let's open this guy first.
I will take one that I am looking. Gloria is telling us Baja wines are boutique wines. That's correct. Perfectly said. In some time, we people used to call us artisanal wine. Not agree. Artisanal is something very small, made it with your hands and with a very traditional technique. If you come to the valley, you will find that the wineries are very well equipped. We do as everybody does in the world. We work with the latest technology, lab control. So that is not artisanal. We are professionals making small quantities. So I like that, Gloria. Thank you for that. We are boutique wines, boutique wineries.
Do we have
I,
any more
I have
questions?
other one, Gloria. Also, thank you, Gloria. How did Mr. Poncelis discover his path as a sommelier and then winemaker? Well, I was born in a family dedicated to wine. My father is a sommelier for more than 50 years. So I have been growing with this wine education in some way. So that made me a sommelier, and I used to work in restaurants. Of course, is the main uh, place to work in as a sommelier. And then lucky, I met in 1999. I met one of the most famous winemakers right now in Mexico, our friend Hugo da Costa, and we started a friendship. And in 2004, by accident, lucky me, he invited me to come and to take some wine making classes that he has been doing in that time. When for first time in my life I did my first wine, I said, "Wow, this is amazing." I chose the wrong way. Being a sommelier, I should be studied enologist, but well, in that moment already happened. So I said, well, it's going to take a little bit time, but I want to learn, I want to study, and I keep doing that. And 5 years after that, well, we started our first winery, and now we are starting the second one. So that's how I get a little bit of passion, of course, but also lucky that Hugo invited me to produce wine in that year, and I just got in love with winemaking. It's amazing when we are in season
Mhm.
fermenting the wine. Oh, it's lovely.
Good. That's good. So, Pedro, next Thursday, we celebrate Thanksgiving here, which is the one day of the year when we all eat the same thing, and that's dried out turkey. Which of the wines would you recommend with the turkey?
Okay, personal opinion and personal taste. For me, punto número uno will be better with the turkey. When I was talking about punto uno, I said chicken, I said
Mhm.
duck. Okay, and of course I forgot the turkey.
Yeah.
Punto número uno is a very, very well balanced wine that goes perfectly with light meats. So
Okay.
I will say that is amazing. Unfortunately, Hill doesn't have more punto uno, so you can ask him for the other Syrah, Grenache, Mourvedre. We have the Poncelis. It's a little bit heavier because it has 24 months in barrel, but goes well with turkey too. The wine that we are drinking right now is Punto Dos, point number two. And this is a blend of 40% Cabernet Sauvignon, 40% Merlot. That is a very famous blend, but it has a touch that make it different. 20% Barbera. So 40% Cabernet gives powerful, or gives power, gives structures, gives body to the wine, and the Merlot apports this elegance, and then the Barbera has this nice touch of acidity and make it a vibrant and explosive wine. Italian grapes, Barbera is an Italian grape, and Italian grapes are very, very important for us. You need to know that in the 60s, in between 50s and 60s, we welcomed here in the region two Italian winemakers. One of them, Camillo Magoni, the other one, Enrique Ferro. When they arrived to this region, to Baja, they started to check the vineyards, and they asked to the vine growers, okay, what do you have here? And growers in that time used to work with very unusual, unknown, and well, crazy varieties like Bola Dulce, Rosa del Peru, very, very crazy grape varieties. And they said, no, 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 come on, we cannot make good wines with these grapes. We need the European varieties, the Vitis vinifera varieties, the good ones that in the whole world everybody used to make good wines. And of course, they were Italian. They started to bring here Italian varieties. Nebbiolo, Barbera, Sangiovese, Aglianico, and other ones. Nebbiolo and Barbera right now are the two most popular. We have amazing Nebbiolos, and we have also very amazing Barberas. So here in this wine, you will find this French style with Cabernet and Merlot, with the touch of the Italian grape. But the difference is that in this wine, you will find a lot of color, a lot of expression, good body, full body, more power, more alcohol, more structure, more tannin. It's a wine that is more heavy, of course. And well, we wanted to have a wine that has good intensity to the people that like this kind of wine. Of course, this wine needs powerful dishes. You need a ribeye, or you need a tomahawk, or you need some lamb, or some deer, or some beer, or something like that, or bear, something like that. Powerful flavors to go to this wine. So it's on purpose that is different to Punto Uno, to have two options, and some people will like more point number one, and some people, of course, will like more point number two. That's the idea, to have two different levels. So definitely for the turkey, John, point number one, I think is best option. If not, the Syrah, Grenache, Mourvedre from the Poncelis, good option too. But if in your menu you have the turkey, but also you have a roast beef or something else, oh, you can have a glass, of course, of point number two too.
You know, Pedro, I'm
Good,
getting like
we're all set.
the cherries or raspberries on the finish.
Yes.
I'm really enjoying this, and I think it would go
Mhm.
very well like some of the gravy that Eloisa makes and some cranberry sauce. I think that might go pretty well. I might try this with the little cranberry sauce with some turkey, just to see how it goes.
Yes, you can, and you will like it. What worries me is the power of the structure of the wine. Probably is going to be a little bit higher than the turkey. Of course, the sauce is the connection point, but probably if you inject to the turkey a heavy sauce to give a more powerful flavor, will be a good idea.
Yeah, it's delicious. Thank you. I like it. I guess you
Thank
can
you,
tell.
Gil.
A, a question that's come through too, Pedro. Juliana Lara wants to know if the Punto Dos would go well with ham. Come on.
Sorry, I didn't hear you very well. Can you repeat the question?
Yes, would the Punto Dos go well with ham, with jamon?
Yes, of course, of course. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, with a ham, of course.
Okay,
Yeah, definitely.
good. Very good.
Just
Very good.
typically, the hams are a little bit salty, aren't they? So I guess sweeter. So I guess the sweetness from the
Yeah,
ham, the finish on the punto dos.
good.
And
So,
also,
so
you
Gil,
you need to think in something. I love cheese, so like example, if you have maybe a little Gouda or Gruyere wine cheese, sorry, point number one is good option. But if you have a Gruyere or aged Manchego or some more flavor cheese, point number two is good option. So you can at the end of the dinner, you can prepare a table with cheeses, and also goes
mhm,
very well with the French say the charcuterie. I mean, ham, but serrano ham and forgot the name. Well, charcuterie. I mean, all
yeah,
these sliced hams and
mhm,
some chorizos also could pair very well, and it's delicious.
yeah. I know. I always have wine when I cook, and sometimes I actually put it in the food, and it's pretty good. Yeah. So, Gil, any other wines that we're going to go through very quickly? I think we're
You know, we
just.
have the last wine, and it's
Uh-huh.
the Poncelis. We call it the GSM, but it's actually the SGM because it's a Grenache Syrah Mourvedre. But it has more Syrah, 60% Syrah, and then 2020 Grenache Mourvedre. So this guy, it's a little bit heavier, it's bolder, a little more alcohol. So whoever got this wine, if you are going to drink it tonight, hopefully you opened it maybe 20 minutes ago. If you did not, that's still okay. What you can do if you are going to have it tonight, open it. And what you're going to get initially is a lot of what I like to refer to as heat, a lot of like the alcohol coming up, because you have to remember this is a 2013, so it's been sitting in the bottle. It's waiting for this special moment. It's waiting for you to open it, and the first thing that happens when you open it, out of the fruit, out of the alcohol, out of the wood, the alcohol is the strongest. So you're going to get that rush of alcohol. So you open it and you let it sit there for a little bit. So if you are opening it right now, pour yourself a little bit and see how it evolves. You're going to notice a little bit of heat on it, but slowly that's going to go away and you're going to have a little bit more fruit. And maybe another thing is I get a lot of questions from people like, why is there sediment on the wine? Is something wrong with it? But just keep in mind that wine keeps evolving. It's just part of the wine, doing its thing. It's aging. So a lot of times what we like to tell people, if you want to use a decanter with a little screen, that's going to help for any kind of sediment. So like this guy has a little screen here, and that will catch all your sediment when you pour it in here. You kind of do that, You'll-
There you go.
So then any sediment from the wine is going to get captured in the screen. And what the decanter is going to do, it's just going to help it open up a little bit, meaning that the oxygen is going to help it balance itself out between the fruits, the oak, and the alcohol. And maybe Pedro will talk a little bit about sediment and obviously the wine itself, because he is a winemaker. So he is the guy that knows this is his baby.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Gil. Yes, everybody needs to understand that the wine is a live being. I mean,
Yeah.
live wine in time change. If you have, like example, a vodka in the bottle never change. It's just water and alcohol. That's it. And you can drink it in 1,000 years and will be exactly the same. But in the wine, we have a lot of components. There is an oxidation process inside of the bottle that makes the wine evolve. So in wine is totally natural in time, get some sediment. So don't worry. What Hill is suggesting is the right and perfect way to serve your wine. You can use the screen, you can use the decanter, you will get out the sediment, you will have the wine with more expression, and you will enjoy it a lot. We, as I said before in the talking, we do stabilization and we do some light filtration, but light filtration. So then it's normal that the sediment appear in time. What is not correct probably is to have a bottle of wine very young that has sediment. So you need to check in the bottle. Some wines, because of the decision of the winemaker, are unfiltered, and that's okay, no problem. But we need to understand if the wine is unfiltered. Literally, the wine is coming from the barrel to the bottle, and of course, you can have some sediment. But you can again use the screen, separate the sediment, and if you do not use the screen and you pour the wine directly to the glass, and then when the wine is in your mouth and you feel something there, don't worry. It's just a sediment. It's a natural, a residual, natural from the process. So it's okay. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's part of the aging process. I notice I'm
Absolutely.
collecting more sediment myself as I get old too on my fingers and toes. So, it's the same thing. Right? Any other questions, Abelardo, that have come through there?
No, well, we don't have questions, but we do have a nice comment here from Isabel Flores. Los vinos de Valle de Guadalupe, for me, son the best. La calidad para mí es única. El rosé me preferido. Gracias a Gil and Eloisa for the invite. That's from Isabel. Joel Bocanegra, when Pedro was talking about the charcuterie, he said, make sure you add some prosciutto on the platter as well. It goes very well with the wine. Juliana Lara, when she was sampling some of the punto dos, the smell, the aroma is amazing. So I'm enjoying it myself. It is an incredibly bold wine, the punto dos. And,
very nice, yeah.
How about with chocolate? Would this go good with a dark, sweet, bittersweet chocolate? Oh,
good.
Thank you.
Good.
Definitely. This punto dos goes perfectly with a good dark, bitter chocolate. The only problem with chocolate is when the chocolate has sugar. If chocolate has some sugar, probably your best option is port. But if the chocolate is dry, bitter, you can have it with point number 2, and it's amazing.
So the darker the chocolate, the better then, with less sugar.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right,
Yeah.
because it's more pure. And
Right.
I'll give you an example. One dish about our traditional food that pairs perfectly with this wine is mole. And you
Mm,
know that in the mole, we use a lot of chiles, but also we use chocolate and goes
mhm.
perfectly with this wine.
That's great. Good.
Point number 2.
Thank you.
Well, we've covered a lot tonight. There's so much more to cover. Gil, was there anything else that we may have missed that you wanted to talk about?
You know, I guess we just have that upcoming wine dinner. You know, we're having a wine dinner with Mirame. That's going to be December the 2nd. And it's going to be with Pedro's wines. That's going to be
Okay.
with Punto Uno, Punto Dos, Punto Tres, Alesia, and Alesia, Punto Uno, and Punto Dos. And I think we might have a white to start off. But it's a 5-course dinner at Mirame in Beverly Hills, and it's $105. If anybody has any questions, feel free to send me an email, and I'll send them over all the information.
Great.
It should
Okay.
be a lot of fun.
And then mention again wine tasting tomorrow at Alta
Yes.
Baja.
So tomorrow, Alta Baja, and that is at, I believe at 4 p.m. You just have to pre-purchase your tickets at altabaja.com. So do that before 10 p.m. I think she said that 10 p.m. was the cutoff. So tomorrow, Alta Baja, and then
Okay.
December the 2nd, I believe it falls on a Wednesday. And I think that's 7 p.m. They have an outdoor patio, so it's totally within the guidelines of the COVID restrictions. And that should be a lot of fun.
Great. Good.
Good food, great wines, under the stars.
Good. What are you sampling tomorrow?
Tomorrow, so we are sampling. We're going to start off with let's see, we're doing a Blanc de Blanc sparkling wine, and then we're going to do a Chenin Blanc, a Gigi, and then we're going to do a young red, a Cata, Grenache Syrah, and then we're going to finish off with 2 Contrastes. Contraste from, it's a blend from Livermore, California, in Valle de Guadalupe, and then a Contraste from La Bordis, France, with a blend of Valle de Guadalupe. So it's a contrast from 2 different regions. That'll be a lot of fun.
That sounds good.
They're very, very expressive wines. Yeah, hopefully we'll
That
see
sounds
it
good.
tonight.
So you may want to rent a room for the night.
I
Yeah,
think
in
so.
Santa Ana. And if you,
I think Eloisa might drive. But maybe if you come, you could be the designated driver.
yeah. Does Eloisa want to say hi?
She's saying, yeah, she's gonna come right over.
She's on the other side of the camera there.
Veni.
Okay. Good.
Everybody's waiting.
Your fans are waiting, Eloisa.
Isabella, is she still on?
Hello, I'm
There
empty.
she is.
Let's
Good.
do the Poncelis.
All right. Well, cheers and thank you. Hello, Pedro.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers, John.
And Pedro, always good to see you. And we really look forward to when you can join us back at La Plaza and do a wine tasting. They're always a lot of fun, very enjoyable, and very educational. And then we hope to plan another journey down to Valle next year when things open up again, and we can take another tour group down there. We had a great time when we went last year. I forgot what month that was, but we ate well, we drank well, and we slept all the way back. I think it was a great trip. We went down on a bus, so we didn't have to worry about driving, and really enjoyed ourselves and really got a good sampling. And the nice thing about the Valle is that we're so close. You know, it's less than a 3-hour drive away. It's a great weekend getaway. One of the top wine regions of the world now. And it's interesting how, as Pedro was saying, the restaurant business has grown in parallel with the wine business, and they support each other. And the cuisine in the Valle is just amazing, from the street food to the finer sit-down restaurants there. So Pedro, thank you. It's always good to see you. And your new venture is a family's involved in this, I understand.
Thank you, John.
right?
Thank you. You are always welcome with Abelardo and the rest of the team of La Plaza. I have to tell you that I really appreciate your support. You for years has been helping us to promote our region, our small businesses with the community over there in California, and is one thing that I really appreciate. So always welcome. I hope to see you soon. And well, of course, we everybody desperate needs to again be together and be in presence. But well, we need to wait a little bit more. Please,
Yeah.
everyone, I said, please take care, use the face mask, keep the distance. I mean, we need to be responsible. If we do that, we will finish this situation the sooner, and then we can get back together, and will be an amazing pleasure see you again. So thank
And
you
then
very
we
much
can
for
have
everybody.
some big,
And also I want to thank Gil and Eloisa. They have been amazing friends that also has been doing a lovely and amazing work promoting our region, promoting our wines. They fell in love with the region a few years ago, and who will imagine that now they are going to be distributors and selling Mexican wines over there. Get close to them. Send them your emails to get in contact. They are organizing
yes,
tastings, dinners, and when it's possible, for sure, next year we'll be organizing another tour. And we will happy to welcome everybody that has been in the audience today. I want to thank all the assistants, and thank you for the comments in the chat. I feel you like the wines, and as a winemaker is the most important thing. When the people likes your wine, your work, well, believe me, makes me feel really good. Thank you very much.
Pedro, and
good, thank you.
next time we'll invite Pedro and his new wine, his Nebbiolo for next soon. We mentioned
Okay,
That's right. That's right. We are
that.
bottling in the next weeks. So for next Zoom session, or I prefer in person, but I don't know. We will have we are launching a new Nebbiolo that is really nice. I just tasted yesterday from barrel, and wow, I am in love. So yes, more coming, more wines are coming,
good,
and well, this is the fun part of this. Each year we are doing something new.
that's
That's
great,
great.
good.
Good.
Well, thank you,
Well, in
Pedro.
the
We
meantime, until
appreciate
we,
your friendship also. And thank you, John. We appreciate you also. And Abelardo, thank you for all your hard work.
Gracias.
It's you guys
good.
do a great job. Cheers.
Well,
Cheers.
until we can all, visit the Valle again, you can enjoy the wines by purchasing them at Northgate and Vallarta markets, and at some of our finer restaurants in town. And again, when you go to a restaurant, sure to ask them, "Do you have any Baja?" And see how they respond. Okay. So
Okay.
thank you
Thank you.
All right, well,
for
thanks
being
to
with
all.
us, and you, Abelardo.
Okay, thank you again, Pedro. It's always a pleasure. Gil and Luisa, of course, and John, our gracious host for the night, and for all of these sessions that we've been able to present and in Casa con la Plaza. Catalina, thank you. Lara says, thank you. This was lovely, and I agree. Isabel Flores, thank you. And yes, let's support the small business. We need each other. And Gloria Williams, gracias y salud. When we get people who love wine, we just can't stop talking about it, besides drinking it, of course. We had Pedro, Gil, and John talking about wine when this all started back in May. They came on in June 19th. So you could check out our YouTube page. Well, I just dropped the link there. When Pedro gave a broader history of the Baja, of the Valle wine region, which is this is a very enjoyable YouTube session and Casa session that you could check out on our YouTube site, along with the almost 100 sessions that we've done since we started this program in April. Those of you who came in a little bit late, you could catch this entire session on our YouTube page later on tonight. It'll be posted. You could also catch it here on Facebook and also on our website, lapca.org. Upcoming programs, we have them listed on our calendar at lapca.org and also on our Facebook page. Next week, we're doing a couple reruns, encore presentations on Monday, Salsas de Molcajete with Oscar Ochoa from El Machete. That's Monday, November 23rd at 3 p.m. And then on Wednesday, the 25th at 7 p.m., the fabulous singer from Mexico, Gaby Moreno, hosted by Beto Arcos, the journalist, well-known radio journalist who really knows his music, and they'll be in conversation, but also some fabulous performances. You won't want to miss that one. That's coming up on Wednesday. So again, muchas gracias a todos. Thank you again, Gil, Luisa, Pedro, John.
Yeah, thank you, Abelardo. And one last thing before we go. If anybody doesn't want to buy purchase wines, we're going to honor the same discount prices. Let us know you met us on Zoom, and we'll continue the same price points because of the relationship that we have with La Plaza. We're going to continue these discounted prices for the whole month of November. So cheers and thanks again. Back to Abelardo.
Right, thank you. And I posted Gil's email address there. He will definitely honor that great offer because he's a good guy. As is Pedro, John. Muchas gracias a todos. Buenas noches. We'll see you soon. Next week, encore performances. The week after, we got plenty of other sessions coming up. Thank you for joining us on En Casa con La Plaza. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Have a safe Thanksgiving.
Buenas noches.